welcome to Let's Talk Nation. I'm your man, Rod Love, and sitting next to me is none other than the General Attorney Greg Jackson.
And once again, it's on, Brother Love. You know how we get this thing started every week, man. How was this weekend for you this past week?
Weekend was blessed, Greg, man. Just to have peace sometimes is a great thing.
Peace for what?
Peace of mind. Peace of mind. That's what I'm going for right now. Peace of mind.
I'm gonna take your word for it.
What about you, man? How was your weekend, man?
My weekend was good, man. No complaints, nothing like that. Got a chance to relax a little bit and just different things like that. Had a chance also to go live on the TikTok page. You know, I've been experimenting with this little thing called TikTok, and had a chance to talk to some of the folks on there. Had a chance to go over some fantastic topics, and so just want to appreciate everyone. And I see some of our folks from TikTok that are tapping in right now. Just want to say we appreciate y'all for joining in and being part of this evening's show as well. So thank y'all very much.
Well, let me tell you, your TikTok experiment has been going very well. I've been taking notice. Hey, them numbers ticking up there, man.
It's doing all right, man.
Hey, man, those are folk who are saying that they're making their IQ go up, man. And Greg, normally we talk about 10%, 15%.
Yeah.
But I've seen your TikTok fan base, man. They doing 20, 25.
Hey, listen, man. Yeah, this is a smart group that I have over here on TikTok, man. So I appreciate them for jumping in tonight. But listen, Brother Love, no matter what, we're going to do it like we do every other night, Brother Love. We just have to let the folks know that they're tuned in to two of the most influential voices in Central Florida on a Monday night podcast. Brother Love, Greg Jackson, the dynamic duo, guaranteed, Brother Love, guaranteed to raise your IQs 10 to 15 points. But you don't already let the cat out of the bag and let them know. Some nights it's 25 to 30 points. If you want to be a part of the night show, all you have to do is hit 407-921-6195. Again, that's 407-921-6195. Or, Brother Love, they can use those little Twitter fingers, and they can join us here on Facebook, on Twitter, and they can leave us messages, and we will be sure to interact with our audience. But for right now, Brother Love, we have to let them know that it's time for us to let's get it on.
Hey, and speaking of getting it on, man, and I don't know if this is an appropriate segue, but let's talk about Shannon Sharpe and the Get It On thing. And that, Greg, I was looking at the news articles and everything, and you would think that lawsuit against Shannon Sharpe and that lawsuit was against
Ocho Cinco, man.
Ocho Cinco.
It's Ocho Cinco, yeah.
And so I looked at the headlines, and it talked about the court not pursuing the case. But then you illuminated something that nobody else thought about.
Listen, man, some of y'all got tricked by that, and I got tricked too, Brother Love, because if you remember, so for those of y'all who don't remember, we talked about Shannon Sharpe a couple of weeks ago, how he had recently settled the $50 million lawsuit. Obviously, he didn't pay $50 million, but the report is that it was $23 million that he paid his former girlfriend, 20 years old. He's 50-something years old. Should have known better, but that's beside the point. Let's stay on topic right now. Now, the same week that the $50 million lawsuit was filed, Brother Love, apparently there was another lawsuit that was filed for $20 million against Shannon Sharpe and Chad Ochocinco. That $20 million lawsuit was related to a defamation case of a lady who was at an Usher concert in London. Usher was feeding her cherries or whatever, and so Shannon Sharpe and Ochocinco, they were watching the video and they were commenting on the video in much the same way that we comment on things. And what they said is that the woman was probably getting ready to get a divorce because if her husband was watching this, he was going to divorce her. Problem is, Brother Love, she was not married. She was an unmarried lady, and so she was also like a director of some organization in Chicago. Okay. And what she said is that comment that her husband was going to leave her and that she was going to get divorced because of her actions actually defamed her character. So after the $50 million lawsuit was settled, a week later, Brother Love, we get news that the $20 million lawsuit had been dismissed. All right. Now here's where it tricked a lot of people. What people don't realize, Brother Love, is that when you settle a lawsuit, the case is dismissed.
Well, that's what threw me.
Yeah. So when they said that the case was dismissed, a lot of folks were like, hey, I guess it was nothing to the case, including myself. Because if you remember, I sent you and Doc a text message, and I said, hey, that case was dismissed. I guess I was right in saying that I didn't think it was too much to this case. But ends up, the reason it was dismissed is because Chad Ochocinco and Mr. Shay, Shannon Sharpe, apparently have settled that $20 million lawsuit for an undisclosed amount.
And Greg, so undisclosed amount could be anything. It could be 10 grand. It could be $1 million. It could range. But let me ask you this question.
Listen, man, Shannon Sharpe writing big checks, so I know it ain't no 10 grand. He's like big checks.
Okay, but with that, Greg, they got to have lawyers on speed dial. And is this sustainable? That no matter what you say in your broadcast, somebody coming at you?
I mean, listen, that's why, we're very careful in how we say things. I don't know if people realize this, but yeah, listen, I'm an attorney. I've sued people. I've gone after people for defamation. There was somebody who posted some stuff about us, and very quickly I pumped his brakes. It was
you burnt them out. But
I pumped his brakes. You know what I'm saying? And I do that because I'm very cognizant of the fact that even when you are speaking in this platform, that you have to be careful about what you say and what you allege, because your words can be defamatory to someone's character. So that's why whenever we talk, we have facts. This is, I don't know if people know this, but we do our research. Doc does research for us. Brother Armando does research for us. We're checking our sources, every time we go on. So by the time we get here, we've already checked our sources to where we have a very good likelihood that what we're talking about is factual in nature, or we clearly state that, hey, this is our opinion about certain things.
But great, there's a fine line, and this is your area, not mine, but there's a fine line between that freedom of speech piece and defamation.
Absolutely. But here's the other thing too, is that, and the reason why I didn't think the case with the young lady had a lot of I don't want to say merit, because I think she had some merit to her case. I think that what she said was accurate. The one thing that I thought that it failed in is because I didn't know what the actual damages were. Whenever you bring a negligence case against someone, and defamation is a form of negligence by saying something about someone that is not accurate and things like that. So it is a form of negligence. So you have to have certain elements in order to meet that. Duty, breach, causation, damages. We learned that in law school, and I didn't know exactly what her damages were, but apparently there were some damages.
Do you think that the risk management department for Shannon Sharpe and Ocho is growing?
I think they're better. Because if he's writing checks like this, he's not going to be in business much longer.
Man, you better believe everybody's hinging on every word they say now.
Oh, absolutely. And going back and looking at tapes and making sure that they didn't say nothing about them.
Hey, and going back and downloading so that they can go back and repeat.
Hey, listen, to the TikTok audience, to our Facebook, to all our other audiences, just go back and check out Club Shay Shay. Something if they said something about you, give me a call. We might have a case. Yeah, we might.
But I don't know. For those people who don't know your skills and talents, man, you got to go ahead and let everybody know you are one of the most. I'm gonna just call it MVP with the Dan Newland Law Firm.
Listen, I do all right.
I do all right. You know, I do all right. I said MVP for a reason. I said MVP for a reason.
I do all right. I ain't gonna.
Well, if anybody needs an attorney, and I know our executive producer gonna have your number scrolling across the bottom of the screen, but Greg, you're right. Shannon knows their risk management department has to be growing.
I mean, listen, you said it best. They're working overtime right now because they're saying things and people are watching every single word that they say right now. So,
Greg, and I mean, you brought it up last time and we had this conversation, but do you realize by the way, his brother was inducted to the Hall of Fame?
Yeah.
I just thought about that.
That's right. And so, that brother being inducted on top of into the Hall of Fame. Sterling Sharpe. And he's having to deal with being sued. But now here's the other thing too, though, because with the lawsuit, the $50 million lawsuit, we saw how that affected Shannon Sharpe's brand. I mean, ESPN has cut ties with them. He probably will not work with ESPN anytime in the future.
Well, you just said ESPN, but Greg, you didn't go ahead and get a prelude to what he was in line, what the discussions about his next contract was going to be.
Yeah, I think it was like $100 million contract.
$100 million.
Yeah, $100 million contract, and now that has been thwarted. Because I'm gonna leave it at that.
Woo!
Because I don't want Club Shay Shay calling us giving us a cease and desist letter. So I'm gonna leave it at that. But here's the other thing too, though. There was talk. There was talk that Chad Ochocinco may be in line to take Shannon Sharpe's position at ESPN since he was out. But I don't know how this latest incident with this $20 million lawsuit, including Chad Ochocinco, will affect his ability to get any work with ESPN.
Hang on, but that lineup, that lineup, Star Power starts with Stephen A. Smith, right?
Yeah. So, what do you mean?
Hey, I mean, what's the guy who played for Pittsburgh still? Ryan Clark.
Yeah.
I mean, the brothers out there doing this thing. I mean, when you look at Star Power out there, and I'm not taking away anything from Ocho now, but come on, man, I'm that Ryan Clark, man, is a bad boy.
Listen, man, let me say
I guess we got our favorites.
No, let me say this. I mean, I'm not about to jump on Ochocinco's bandwagon. I like him, but I'm saying this. Ryan Clark tangled with the wrong lion.
Who was that?
Cam Newton.
Oh
my goodness. Oh my goodness. Did you see when Ryan Clark came at Cam Newton for talking about the fact that Jalen Hurts didn't make his top 10, and Cam Newton gave some very compelling reasons why he was not in his top 10, but Gilly the Kid, a rapper, and Ryan Clark took it upon themselves to go after Cam Newton, and Cam Newton just basically laid it out. Second, what do you say? Second team All-American or something. We do not relate. Second round draft pick, we do not relate. One-time Pro Bowl, we do not relate. I'm talking about. Listen, so Ryan Clark is cool,
but you know what? No, what's so interesting?
Cam Newton, listen, man, I think Cam Newton needs to be getting tapped for that.
Well, all right, I'll go with you. But you know what's great? It's so interesting, man. We get more clicks for coming at each other instead of going down the road with each other, man. It's just so amazing.
Yeah, I mean, what's his name? Steven Jackson, Matt Barnes. They kind of laid that blueprint out when they went after Kwame Brown. And Kwame Brown now has his own podcast and all of his other things because he was being attacked by these guys. But yeah, I mean, it's like if we attack each other, we get clicks. And all that
hey, you had LeBron walk up to you during the game while LeBron's playing in the game and walk up to Stephen A. Smith and say one more thing about my boy, I'm going to smack you.
Listen, man, who LeBron thought he was? Will Smith?
But you know what?
Who thought he was?
Who was the rapper that said something and then showed up and sat front court?
Oh man, that was nobody other than Kevin Gates.
Yeah,
Kevin Gates. Yeah. He said right there. He said that he didn't like the way that Savannah looked at LeBron.
But man, it's just so amazing. Us fighting each other is more entertaining than building upon one another and doing something positive. I don't know, man. I guess. Times have changed.
Times have changed, man. But it is what it is. It is what it is. But so that is the how we got from Shannon. Okay, so Shannon Sharpe, natural progression, Ryan Clark, Gilly the Kid, Cam Newton. Okay, all right. So we covered the bases and we got through our little sports part right now.
So we got through the sports part, but here's another interesting area to go into, Greg. And this is growing. And you and I had this conversation before, and it's nothing other than having the conversation about P. Diddy.
So. When you thought that the P. Diddy news was done, he was found not guilty of the two more serious charges. He was found guilty on the two lesser charges, which still do carry up to 10 years in prison. He is back in the news, Brother Love, for a very, very interesting reason. Apparently, in addition to his legal team asking for the conviction to be thrown out, which is not unusual, P. Diddy, who goes to trial October 3rd to determine what his sentencing is, P. Diddy's legal team has approached none other than, drum roll please, Donald Trump asking for a pardon.
So what do you think the likelihood? I mean, because I don't think, personally, I don't think it's out of the realm of it happening.
Oh, it is out of the realm of it happening because apparently Donald Trump has already said that Sean Puff Daddy Combs or P. Diddy Combs said some not so nice things about him while he was campaigning for the first presidential race. And most certainly didn't have any nice things to say about him while he was, president, the 45th president. And so I think that he has made it clear that it's going to be very hard, if not impossible, for Sean P. Diddy Combs to get any type of pardon.
So quiz for you.
Yeah.
Who are some of the folk that President Trump has pardoned that are notable names?
Listen, that's a great question because I don't think people really and truly realize this, Brother Love. But Donald Trump, when he was president the first time, actually commuted. What is the word? Commuted. Yeah, I'm sorry. Commuted the sentences of two individuals. One of which, let me start with the pardon first. So the first one he did, a pardon is when someone has been convicted of something, and you basically get rid of that conviction, technically before they go to jail. To commute is to remove that sentence or whatever time they have left to serve or whatever the case may be. All right, so that's just real short, quick. Criminal law. I'm a civil trial attorney, so my criminal law guys out there, if you have more to add to it, please add to it. But that is just the basics of it, because this TikTok and Let's Talk Nation crowd, Facebook, they're smart people. They don't need for me to go too much into that. Now, he pardoned Brother Love, Lil Wayne. Remember, Lil Wayne was pulled up on some gun and some drug charges. I believe they found something on his bus, and so he pardoned Lil Wayne. He also commuted the sentence of. What's my daughter calling? sure that's what I'm saying. I'm doing the show right now. He also commuted the sentence of Kodak Black, who is a Florida-based rapper. A lot of people don't know that about Donald Trump. He also, and this is a huge one, and I don't know and I don't understand why this is not or was not talked about more. He also commuted the sentence of Kwame Kilpatrick, the former hip hop mayor of the city of Detroit, also fellow Rattler. I was at FAM at the same time he was at FAM. A bigger than life guy even then. Became the youngest mayor in one of the most progressive cities in the country. Had a bright future ahead of him politically. You know, things happen. I'm gonna leave it at that. Things happen. But he commuted the sentence of Kwame Brown, who was serving 28 years in federal prison. Now, let's talk about the fact that Kwame Brown went to prison while you had an African American president who did nothing.
Boy, you hitting it on all engines right now.
So, what people also don't understand, or what they don't realize, is that just recently, Brother Love, NBA YoungBoy has been pardoned by Donald Trump, hip hop guy. Also, Harry O. He is known as probably the financier of Death Row Records.
Oh,
he was the man behind Suge Knight, the man behind Dr. Dre, the man behind Snoop Dogg in the 1990s.
Well, how did this one slip past me? When did...
People don't realize. So when we hear that P. Diddy, that his legal team has gone to Donald Trump and asked for a pardon, it is not outside of the realm of possibility that Donald Trump will hear and listen to and potentially pardon Sean Puff Daddy Combs, but for the fact that he has gotten on the wrong side of Donald Trump.
It comes down to relationships matter, huh?
The relationships matter.
And you know, he did specifically say they had a great relationship before President ran for office.
Listen, they're both New Yorkers. You know, they came up. Well, now Donald Trump came up, you know, with a silver spoon in his mouth. Sean Puff Daddy Combs came up, you know, through the music industry and, you know, pulled himself up. But yeah, they're both New Yorkers. So, you know, if a fellow New Yorker, just like if it's a Floridian out there that I can help out, or, you know, I had spent some time in Georgia, if there's somebody in Georgia that I can help out, yeah, I'm going to do my thing. But yeah, Sean P. Diddy Combs basically messed that up for himself. So.
Rick, this is going to be interesting to see where this goes.
Oh, it's going to be very interesting to see where it goes. Very interesting to see where it goes.
As you mentioned, man, it's not outside the realm of possibility. So
absolutely. So we're going to stay tuned.
Well, we're going to stay tuned because we don't have to wait for it to come to us. It's going to come to us fast.
Yeah, and this is what I'm guessing, Brother Love. Since the sentencing is October 3rd, shortly thereafter, we're going to hear something about whether or not that sentence is. Well, I don't know. He might let him sit for a while. Let's just wait and see. Let's see.
You think so?
Let's wait and see.
Okay, so that's a perfect segue since we're talking about that. But that's a perfect segue to talking, Greg, about naming the heir apparent for the vice presidency. And since we're talking about President Trump, what's the update on that?
Listen, before we talk about President Trump, you know, I am a Democrat. All right, everybody needs to know and everybody needs to understand that. But now, here's what it is. I am a common sense blue dog Democrat. All right, you know, I don't drink the Kool-Aid and think that everything that a Democrat says is right. I will look and I will evaluate candidates. As we say here on the show, TikTok doesn't know this, but we vote for. We look at people over party.
Voting your interests.
Voting your interests and voting. You know, yeah. So yeah, voting interests. All right. So. With that stated, though, Brother Love, there is a lot of angst about where the Democratic Party is and who the leadership is going to be in the Democratic Party. There is very little doubt about the direction of the Republican Party right now. Mm-hmm. And so, just recently, during an interview of some sorts, Donald Trump basically said, "Listen, you can clear the field right now. You can absolutely clear the Republican field for who's going to be the Republican nominee in 2028. And you can say right now, who is the heir apparent for MAGA? Is it J.D. Vance?" Mm-hmm. And at that moment, at that point in time, Donald Trump could have easily have said, he's the guy. And that would have set in line or put in motion the campaign for President of the United States for J.D. Vance. But Donald Trump didn't say that.
I'm glad you said that. So with that being said, Greg, from a strategy standpoint, he has a little over 200 days in office now. Speaking of Donald Trump,
is it 200? Is it that many?
Yeah. Okay. So you got more time ahead of you to serve as president. So let me ask from a political strategy standpoint.
Right.
Would it be wise to have taken that opportunity to say right then and there who he is naming the heir apparent? I mean, I'm just curious.
Absolutely, that would not have been wise at all. And it's interesting that someone would ask him, Brother Love, at this juncture in his presidency, of who is your heir apparent. There is a lot that can happen between now and 2027, which is when the campaign really, really gets started. And one of the names he mentioned, Brother Love, he mentioned, listen, Marco Rubio has done some great things right now, and we cannot deny that.
So he mentioned his name.
He mentioned his name.
Hey, so boy, it's gonna be a. Okay.
And here's what's funny about that. And I was telling somebody this weekend. There are no permanent enemies in war and politics.
You're right.
Because remember, not too long ago, and by not too long ago, I dare say within the last 7 years, Donald Trump was berating and belittling Marco Rubio.
Yeah, you're right.
And calling him Little Marco and all the other things. But before his presidency ended, Marco Rubio was one of his biggest champions. Yeah. And so Donald Trump realizes and recognizes that, hey, there's a lot of road ahead of me, and someone that may come up to where that person may be the one, and I don't want to damage them or hurt their chances.
And you know what? You're absolutely correct. But you know what? Let me rewind too, because we saw what took place with Vice President Mike Pence and President Trump's relations. I mean, did I hit that on the dime? Because now Pence can't even, he can't even get a doggone call answered.
Yeah, Pence. Listen, Pence stood on what he believed, and he practiced what we practice, which is people over party. He felt that there were some things that he could not agree with. And I think that by doing what he did, that he has forever. And listen, apparently he did not want a political life after this, anyways, because he has ruined any chance that he has in becoming president of these United States.
Well, he wanted a political life when he ran for president, but he saw how short-lived that was.
Yeah,
very short-lived.
Yeah, I mean, because people remember, and so Mike Pence, he even was saying that he did not support Donald Trump, and he would not endorse Donald Trump. Which I think was a mistake for him as well. And so that's why I say, apparently he does not want a political future because his chance to get back into the good graces, he passed on.
But they say stick a fork in him.
He's done.
He's done.
He's done. Absolutely.
So great. That, that was in the news and that was taking place.
But now let's talk about Brother Love. The sad part of what we got to talk about, which is the my party, all right, the Democrat Party. Because the question is, who do we as Democrats have that may potentially step up and be able to challenge whomever the Republican nominee is. And the people right now that come to mind, obviously you have a Whitmer out of Michigan. You have Gavin Newsom out of California. You may have Kamala Harris that is still around.
And she just recently announced that she was not running for governor of California.
Right. Yeah. And so I mean, you don't pass up on running for governor of one of the largest states in the union unless you have some future plans. But the name that keeps coming up, Brother Love, that people need to really truly pay attention to is Andrea Ocasio. What's her name? AOC. I don't know about AOC. Yeah.
Greg, I mean, I gotta say this though. Greg, I don't hear any discussions, man, coming from the Democratic Party, and I'm not a Democrat. I don't hear any discussions coming from the party that even Democrats can get their arms around. And you look at Chicago, the mayors in Chicago, Brandon.
That's a mess over there.
It's a mess.
It's a mess.
Great. This guy everybody's talking about balancing a budget. Well, balancing a budget after you utilize so much of taxpayer dollars, and I'm gonna say it, man. When we started looking at undocumented individuals in this country, Chicago was one of the leading cities that was looking after visitors before they looked after the people that lived there.
Chicago was referred to as, and still is referred to as, a sanctuary city. And here in the state of Florida, here actually in our area. We just recently had a challenge between the governor and a mayor here in Florida, where the governor was threatening to remove the entire council in Orange County, Florida, if they did not sign an amendment to an agreement that they would assist with transporting individuals to, I think, Alligator, Alcatraz, whatever the case may be. But the thing about Chicago is, and to your point, Brother Love, it appears that the mayor of Chicago did not put the interest of his citizenry above, hearing the hand claps of people in the party, because people in his own city were saying, listen, you need to look out for us and our interests. And he was saying, I'm not turning anybody away. That affected the dollars that were coming into their city, and still affects what's coming to their city, to where now he's saying, listen, if something doesn't happen soon, our city is going to be in financial ruin.
And Greg, with that, I mean, and I say this respectfully, I don't hear Democrats coming up with any solutions to a lot of the issues that Americans are facing. Not just Democrats, but Americans are facing. So I don't see where this is going, man.
I mean, listen. I mean, you going.
Yeah,
you know how the Democrats ain't doing nothing like about 5 times. I'm gonna have to stop you right there because
hey, I'm just
we ain't gonna bash on Democrats. We'll have a meaningful conversation. We ain't gonna have no bash the Democrats conversation now. We ain't gonna do that tonight.
I'm just speaking some truths right now.
So, but I mean, we got a plan. We just don't have the voices of the people who
got a plan?
forward. Yeah, we got a plan.
Oh, secret plan.
Secret plan.
Okay.
Hey, listen. You don't go to the meeting. I go to the meeting.
Okay, secret plan. Okay, I'm gonna give that up to you, man. But Greg, that is something, man, that is a discussion, man, that is being had everywhere. I know, there's oftentimes that we may very well not agree on all issues, and that's all right.
Yeah.
I think disagreement helps us develop and get to where we need to get. That old saying about if everybody leave the room unhappy, that means you're making progress.
That's right. But listen, but we always say this, Brother Love, and I'm going to say it again. Iron sharpens iron.
You're right.
And when we talk about iron sharpening iron, hey, how's everyone doing out there on TikTok? I appreciate y'all for jumping in. I apologize. We've just been going into our conversation. But when we talk about iron sharpening iron, what that means is that you have a rough surface rubbing against another rough surface to sharpen an object. And our disagreements, our rubbing together sharpens our arguments, and when we step out there and prepare ourselves to go to battle against everybody else. So, listen, no, we're not supposed to agree on everything. We're supposed to challenge each other so that when we get out there, we're ready for war.
So in these challenges, Greg, and here's a good one, man, because, this is just rolled out, this past weekend?
Which one?
With President Trump ordering the National Guard into Washington, D.C. I don't
know how I feel about that. I don't know how I feel about that.
So help me to understand it, because I just saw something else today where it talks about, law enforcement joining with federal authorities. D.C. law enforcement. How does that work?
So a little known fact about me. A lot of people don't know this, and some people do, but I was a weekend warrior. Mm-hmm. I was a member of the Florida National Guard for a number of years, and actually during one of the more devastating times in the history of the state of Florida, I was actually activated to prepare to go. I was actually in during Desert Shield, the first Desert War, and so we had to be prepared to act on the orders of the president. Mm-hmm. So during certain crises, the president of the United States can federalize state militia, which is what the National Guard is. National Guard is to protect certain states, and their commander-in-chief is the governor of their respective states. But the president of the United States can federalize those individuals so that they can go and they can do certain jobs that benefit the nation as a whole. And so Donald Trump has federalized, or is planning to federalize and bring in National Guard to help to keep Washington, D.C. safe, because the word is that D.C. is a very dangerous city. But that has been said about D.C. for how many years now, brother?
It's been said for quite a bit. We've had conversation. But Greg, on that note, though, has this, because I know you're a historian, and if you don't know, you've done research, Greg, has this ever been done before?
So, not to this extent. The only other time that I can think of something like this happening was back in the 1950s in Alabama, when they were working to desegregate schools, and the federal government in desegregating schools actually called up the National Guard. I want to say it was either in Mississippi, Alabama. I want to say George Wallace would have been in Mississippi, but somebody correct me if I'm wrong. I could be wrong on that. So it has happened, not necessarily in D.C., but in other areas where this has happened to some extent. It also was requested, Brother Love, and this is the interesting thing. It was requested by Donald Trump during his getting out of office speech after the first time he was defeated by Joe Biden, what has infamously been become known as January 6th.
Mm-hmm.
And there is documented, and I can only say this because I've seen some of the documents, that Donald Trump asked Nancy Pelosi, who as Speaker of the House is to secure the House and to secure the city, to call in the National Guard because he felt that the crowds were going to be large and he wanted to maintain order, and it wasn't done. So I know that it has been requested by Donald Trump. I know that it has been done in some extraordinary cases. I do know that that you can federalize other individuals, but not to this extent. But it has been done before. That's a long answer to your question.
And great. Let me ask this question, and this is something that's been asked quite often as of late. Great. How is this different from what took place in California during what was it, man? We just had military in California streets doing some of the protests regarding undocumented immigrants and ICE. So how is this is this that much? I mean, California is a state too, so that is.
Well, I mean, that. So the biggest difference is, and to your point, California is a state, meaning that it has its own executive officer by way of governor of the state of Florida, who is the commander in chief of the National Guard in that area. And so it's different because, from that perspective, the president came in and overrode the governor in activating National Guard troops in order to protect federal assets and federal agents. In this particular case, there is no governor to overlook D.C. And so it's more so of who's the mayor of D.C., what powers they have. And so, the president has basically said, we're taking over the Metropolitan Police, and we're going to secure the city where law enforcement has failed to do so.
So Greg, we got a lot of things going on, and with this, I'm gonna throw in a fastball here.
Yeah.
And that fastball is the fastball that is taking place in Texas right now.
Okay.
The census takes place every 10 years, and so now Texas is looking at a redistricting process.
5 years in.
5 years in. So, any updates on that? Because I think some other states are starting to look at it now too.
So, I had a conversation about this on Friday with a good friend of mine, Brother Vern. See you out there. Thank you for tuning in. And my concern is, to go in halfway through the time period, because the reason why you want to do it is because you want to change the lines, the voting lines, the congressional districts, in order to determine the amount of representation that each state has based on the districts and based on the residents in those states, and redrawing the lines. And so I'm always concerned because I always say if it's done on this side, it can be done on the other side. And so what's to stop? And listen, I don't like it because it's a Republican doing it. But to the same point, if a Democrat was doing it, Republicans wouldn't like it either. And so, can it be done? If there is an increase in population that is that drastic, I think that it should be looked at and evaluated, and that you shouldn't have to wait 10 years in order to evaluate, your citizenry. But I think that this is a little bit different because it seems as if this is being done to attack a few of the Democrats in that area, specifically Jasmine Crockett, who's in that area, who's actually being moved out of her district because her district is now disappearing. And Jasmine Crockett has been a huge opponent and critic of Donald Trump. And so whether it is or isn't, it gives the allure of the president trying to move away and move aside certain critics of his in other parties. And so I don't like it from that standpoint. I understand it. I know that Texas has gotten a lot of new residents because there are a lot of folks moving from California to Texas. But in the same respect, there are a lot of people moving from California and New York and other areas of Florida.
You're right.
So do we need to readdress where we are from a census standpoint? And if Texas does it, I can almost bet that, in the next year or so, we may be hearing the same chatter here in the state of Florida.
Right, but Greg, there is already chatter that, when you look at some of the Democratic states that are starting to look at and consider the same thing.
Yeah. And listen, I mean, I want to say California is one of those states that's saying, well, listen, if you're going to do it, we're going to redraw lines, and they could potentially pick up some additional seats there. But I don't know how California does that with the number of people that they're losing in the state, unless they're able to and allowed to count individuals who are in this country illegally. And I think that that's one of the biggest arguments about not controlling the borders is that if you're able to count everybody, no matter if they're a resident or a citizen or not, and that increases your numbers, is that fair?
You're right. You're right. So I guess we'll stay tuned to that. But Greg, one of the things before we leave there is the fact that you're looking at taxpayer revenue, if you would, and you're looking at your population, you're looking at census, but you're also looking at the needs of these particular states. Would that show up where you're showing a higher number of individuals that have not come into this country, where they're being counted? Let me just say where they're being counted, and would represent those needs. So this piece about going back and doing this out of the census time period, what other impact will that have?
I mean, that's the biggest impact. And that listen, like I said, it affects how many seats you get with regards to the electoral college. It also determines how much money you get in federal government dollars. So it absolutely can impact and makes a difference. And that's why I say, if there's a drastic influx of individuals coming into your state and it is becoming a dredge on your state, then maybe you should be able to look at that and determine, should we take into account these huge numbers?
Well, Greg, I want to take a quick detour if you don't mind.
Well, before we do that, Brother Love, for all of our TikTok people, your time has arrived. We appreciate y'all for tuning in. Say how's it going? I apologize for that, Dave. Good to see you. But like I said, the first 30 minutes goes to our joint audience. But if you want to see and be a part of the Let's Talk Nation, you have to join us on our other platform. But until next time with our TikTok audience, we appreciate you for tuning in. I'll be seeing y'all again next time. Appreciate y'all. Thanks.
Well, that audience is growing over there. Great. Now, I got to take a detour real quick.
Yeah, what you got?
The detour of which you and I hadn't had this conversation, but did you see where Florida made the request of, and I don't know if it's SNAP, TANF, whereby sodas and junk food is a disallowable purchase now with, I guess for lack of a better word, food stamps. Now, I've heard some individuals argue the fact that why are you engaging in terms of what people can purchase with that? And here's my response to it, Greg. Okay. Do you realize the impact? Because again, that's purchased with a subsidy.
Okay.
But do you realize the health care benefits of not being able to consume a lot of these same things that we talk about that are detrimental to your health? And the residual piece of that, Greg, is when we look at whether it's juvenile obesity or diabetes and those things, that is also something, man, when you look at healthcare outcomes, they turn out better when you don't. I mean, I'm one to say, I wish I could stop drinking a lot of sodas and some other stuff that's not healthy for me. But when I saw that, you saw where a lot of other states start putting in their applications to adapt to that same thing. So I don't know if you saw that, but what are your thoughts on that?
The question to me, Brother Love, is, should the government be able to determine how monies are spent for food items, and that those food items, if they have a direct effect on someone's health, and whether or not they will have to access the healthcare system more because of those poor food item choices? Should the government or can the government regulate what those funds
that the government pays for through subsidies?
Yeah. Do I think that the government should be allowed or is allowed to do so? I would say yes. Mm-hmm. I think that if people get food, we call it food stamps. I don't know what they call it now.
EBT, yeah.
So if a person receives EBT, but even back in the day when people had food stamps, they couldn't go out and buy steak and lobster and stuff like that. I don't know if you remember that. There were certain things they couldn't buy and purchase because you're supposed to be buying nutritious food or enough food that's going to last you for a time period. And if you're buying steak and lobster may last you one day, but if you go and you're getting vegetables, fresh foods, you're getting chicken and things, you can stretch that meal. So I think, I actually think that is a great idea that the government is saying, listen, you can't use this money to buy Duncan Hines, or what's the lady name? Who is it? Oh, Betty Crocker. Duncan Hines or Betty Crocker cake mix, and that's all that's in your basket because you want to eat cake and ice cream all day. Mm-hmm. You have to have healthy food items because you eating healthy food items means that you have a healthier lifestyle.
Have a healthier lifestyle, but also the ROI back on that, Greg, is when you look at healthcare subsidies too. On the back end, it's a benefit.
Right. Yeah, listen, I don't disagree with it. I don't disagree. I think that's a great idea.
So that's what's been in the news too, Greg. And now you have other states that are following Florida's lead and trying to explore getting the same waiver.
Listen, there's nothing wrong with that.
So, Greg, I had to deviate from that, but then I got to come back to, man, the 70-yard field goal, man. Come on. Why Greg Jackson Sr. not on the show when we're talking about this?
And especially from the team that kicked that 70-yard field goal. So I don't know if folks were watching, thank goodness, Brother Love. This is the time of year that I look forward to, because now we have college football, have high school football, we have professional football. The season is getting started,
and you got a lot of high school coaches quitting too. Don't forget to mention that.
Oh yeah, you got to quit. But listen, I don't want to detract from what this is all
okay.
About. And so with that, there's certain preseason games. We're going to talk about another preseason, actually 2 preseason games. But there was a preseason game on Sunday, and was it Saturday?
Sunday. If it's the one that I think you're talking about,
that was Saturday.
Browns?
No. Jacksonville and Steelers.
Okay.
That was Saturday, right?
I didn't see Hunter perform.
So so the Jacksonville Jaguars were playing the Pittsburgh Steelers, and yes, this is a preseason game, but the highlight of the game was not Travis Hunter. I mean, I know a lot of folks were looking forward to seeing him play, because this is going to be probably the first player in the last 20 years that plays both sides of the ball. He said that if he could play both sides of the ball, he was going to quit football. And so he was going to retire, but I don't know how you retire with something that you never. But whatever. But the highlight of that game, Brother Love, was actually Cam Light. And Cam Light, for those of y'all who don't know, and I didn't know until this particular play happened, he is the kicker, the extra point kicker, the field goal kicker for the Jacksonville Jaguars. And just before halftime, the Jacksonville Jaguars, they're driving, and then they end up on the 40-yard line. And typically, when you end up on the 40-yard line, you get ready to go into the locker room. You may throw either a Hail Mary pass, or you just have your guy to take a knee. Time had actually run out, but then Jacksonville had called the timeout at the request of Cam Light. And the reason why Cam Light asked them to call a timeout is because he said, "Hey, coach, I think I can make that field goal." And the field goal that he was going to attempt, Brother Love, was 70 yards. So in other words, they were on their 40-yard line when the kicker said, "I think I can do it." So the previous record, or the previous long field goal, was 66 yards. And it was a barely made 66 yards. And one other than that was 63 yards. There have been a couple of punters that made, kickers that made that. And I said it was barely made because it hit the crossbar and it bounced over.
Forward, okay.
So it wasn't even like a clean 66-yard field goal. Cam Light steps up to the plate, and everyone's looking at just like, this has to be a joke, but we'll entertain young Cam Light. And this kid absolutely bombs the ball.
But how far did he clear it though? Come
on. 5 yards.
Oh, shoot.
Listen, when I say he made a 70-yard field goal, he had some distance beyond the uprights.
Love to be his agent right now.
Yeah, and so the downside to that, though, here's the downside. I mean, in every a little light, a little sunshine has to fall, and whatever they're trying to say. The downside is, Brother Love, it doesn't count towards the NFL record.
Because it's preseason?
Because
are you serious?
It was a preseason.
So it goes into the preseason record book.
There's no such thing as a preseason record book.
Are you serious?
I'm serious. So it just goes into, hey, on Saturday, whatever the date is, we had a guy that kicked the 70.
Great, that go into the record books.
That's not going to record books.
So he got to do this during the season now.
But listen, but what people are saying is this sends a very clear message to teams that are going to be playing the Jacksonville Jaguars that they have a guy who can absolutely bomb the ball.
Great. So with that being the case, just think, if you get to the 50-yard line, you don't necessarily have to punt.
Oh, he gets it. That's easy work, man. That's 60 yards. That's 60 yards. Now, here's the more interesting thing, because I had to look it up. I had to look it up when I saw this. Although 66 yards was the longest field goal in a regular season game, the longest field goal yard attempt that a team sent their kicker out to say, okay, see if you can make it, 76 yards.
Well, how far? I don't know
how far it was off, but now the guy and you may remember this name, Brother Love. The guy that they sent out there to attempt this 76-yard field goal is a guy that was at one point in time near and dear to my heart because he is a former Florida State Seminole, Go Noles, Janikowski. You remember Janikowski?
No, you going way back.
Janikowski, for y'all.
Didn't he play for the Oakland?
Play for the Raiders. Yeah. As a matter of fact, when he made that attempt, he was with the Raiders.
And that was a big boy too, Greg.
He was the linebacker side.
Yeah.
He was linebacker.
Well, Greg, that's all he did play.
Or something like he was just he was a kicker, and I think he punted some too.
Yeah.
But his thing was he was a kicker. And he was the only player that I know of when Bobby Bowden, God rest his soul, was the head coach of the Florida State Seminoles, and Janikowski broke curfew or didn't make curfew. They had Bobby Bowden on the news, and Bobby Bowden was like, "Well, Coach, you got to suspend him because he didn't make curfew." He said, "Well, he doesn't understand the language because we're not sending him out the game." Because he had, Janikowski was a legend in his own right.
Greg, when he came out of college, man, he was highly sought after. I think he got drafted
in the first. If I remember, I think he was drafted in the first round.
So I mean, he was in college, man. He was putting them out there, man. So everybody knew. But man, I tell you, Greg, I got one for you though. Since we're talking football, and I don't know if you know the answer to this, but I'm sure Greg Jackson Sr. does. Who is the? Well, this is gonna give it away, but I'm gonna go ahead and say it. Hall of Fame tight end who never played college football.
I just saw him just the other day. Oh, jeez.
Hey, and I think he still holds the record books for touchdowns by a tight end.
Oh, jeez.
Hey, and that blows everybody mind. This tight end never played college football and got drafted in the NFL, and now he's in the record books.
Yeah, I mean, the thing was, he was 6'8" basketball player.
Oh, so you know who I'm talking about.
I can't think of his name, though.
Antonio Gates.
Why can I think of that?
Hey, bad boy.
Antonio Gates.
Bad boy.
Right, yeah.
But yeah, man, that guy, he was one of the more recent Hall of Famers inducted.
So listen, this is hilarious. Janikowski went 17th overall in the 2000 NFL draft. 17 overall.
Greg, see,
that's how bad they wanted him.
Yeah, they knew what they were getting, man.
6'1", 260. I told you it was linebacker size, man. 6'1", 260 from Poland.
Greg, how did he perform though throughout in the NFL? Because he's not still in the NFL anymore, I don't think.
Pro Bowl.
No, he's not. 2000.
Yeah, second team All-American. So he played for the Seahawks. He played. Oh wow, he played for. I didn't know.
Wait, what year did he come out? What year was he drafted?
2000.
Oh, okay.
And he played for Raiders for 17 years.
Yeah, he's
for 17 years. Man. So he had to be a summer thing.
Yeah, 17 years.
Listen, field goals made 436, field goals attempted 542, field goal percentage 80.4%. Longest field goal 63 yards, so that's tied. So the 66 is the longest. There have been a couple of kickers that have gone 63. Points scored 1,913 points to be scored as a kicker.
17 years. And that was with one team, though, right?
So yeah, 17 years with the Raiders, and then he played 1 year with the Seahawks, which I don't even remember that year.
Well, that just meant he was worth it. He was worth his weight in gold for them, man, to be around that long.
Longest field goal attempt, 76 yards against the San Diego Chargers in September of 2008. Most extra points in a Pro Bowl. Most field goals attempted 60 yards. Most field goals in 1 quarter. Longest field goals in overtime.
Okay, that just means a lot of kickers got a lot of work to do to catch up.
Listen, not this guy Cam Light though.
Well,
he's made a name for himself.
So wait, hold up. Is he a new draft pick, or is this his first year in the league, or what?
It's his first year, but I don't know where he's been, but no one has really had a reason to pay attention to him until Saturday.
Okay, well, let's talk about people to pay attention to, man, and this is what everybody's been waiting for.
You know, brother, I think they call that a segue.
They call that a segue?
I think they call that. I think they call that a legit segue.
And this is the kind of segue that you have not been hearing a whole lot about the first pick in this last NFL draft. And because you've not heard a whole lot about them, is because it's been overshadowed by the person we're about to talk about.
Yeah. I like what you did that.
You like that? Overshadowed because everybody's been waiting to see what Shedeur Sanders was going to do.
You know, Shedeur Sanders got his first start as an NFL player in a preseason game on this past Saturday or Friday. I'm sorry, and I'm going to tell you, Brother Love, I am highly disappointed in how people have categorized and talked about Shedeur Sanders. I think this kid came in with a chip on his shoulder with something to prove, and I think that game he proved his detractors wrong. He's here to play. He's serious about being an NFL starter, and I think that the Browns will be making a huge mistake. Number one, if they trade. Well, listen, they may be doing him a huge favor if they trade him, but I think that they're doing themselves a disfavor if he remains at number 4 on the depth chart.
Who else, Greg, was a 5th round NFL pick that now they're the GOAT in the quarterback position?
Was he 5th or 6th round?
I thought it was 5th round. And so you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, Tom Brady.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And who else was Shedeur's mentor and coach when he was in college?
Yeah, Tom Brady was a guy that he could call on, and actually went through some training with him and everything else. Yeah.
So when you mentioned that he's 4th on the depth chart for the Browns, how do you fact that when you saw Flacco didn't dress, right?
Yeah.
And he has supposedly an injury.
Yeah.
Gabriel, I can't remember Gabriel's.
I know you're talking about that, yeah.
But he was picked in the 1st round to the Browns. And he's not really had the best days in terms of performance. And now the discussion is, will he even make the team?
And that's a reasonable discussion.
So when you take those two
out,
out
in the 6th round.
In 6th round.
Yeah, 199.
So around more than what I thought.
Yeah.
So Greg, how do you tell me that Shedeur's 4th on the depth chart?
Listen, I think that he's 4th on the depth chart because the owner of the team came out and said that Shedeur wasn't his guy. And, I think that if you're the owner of a team, that at the very least you need to back up the guys that are on your team, because whether or not they stay or they go, the people that are on your team want to know that you appreciate them and that you have their back no matter what happens. And for him to say that, I think that was uncouth and crass. And so I think that also put in other people's minds, we can't say nothing nice about this guy because the owner doesn't like him.
Well, Greg, I think a lot, man, that has had to do with this. And I mean, people agree or disagree, but I think we all can say you got to have a degree of ego and arrogance, man, when you're playing at this level. And even when he was at Colorado, I was one of the main people that was sitting back saying, come on, man, get rid of the ball. You're not going to make it in the NFL holding the ball that long.
Yeah.
But, boy, you see that development. I mean, you got to give it up to him.
And listen, here's the other thing, too, now. He was not the only Sanders who showed out. His brother, Shiloh Sanders, who plays corner at Tampa Bay, he was lighting it up. I mean, he was blitzing like crazy.
Making their daddy proud, man.
Yeah, making some nice plays. And, I mean, he was undrafted. These kids, I mean, listen, they sat at the feet of one of the greatest athletes and football players that
Hall of Famer
that the world has known. When I think about great athletes and great football players, there are a couple of names that come to mind. I have Deion Sanders, I have Bo Jackson. You obviously have your other guys who are single sports guys. You got your LTs, you got your Tony Dorsett. You got your Emmitt Smith. I mean, you have all of those guys. But when I think about pure athletes that could do any, I mean, and don't forget, Deion Sanders played both sides of the ball.
You're right, baseball and football.
No, both sides of the ball.
That's right. Receiver, but they also played baseball.
Yeah, he did, but not to the level as I got.
Oh, you're right.
Bo Jackson.
But you know what, man? When you talk about athletes, and I'm gonna say this. When I look at Deion Sanders now, man, and I'm thinking about setting aside what he's done in sports.
Yeah.
Great. I'm looking at a human being, man, that's making a hell of an impression on people. When I think about, and you're going to always have those folks who buy the haterade.
Yep.
But when I think about, man, what this guy has personally been going through and never once, man, going out in front of those cameras and said anything, woe was me or pity me. I mean, just recently announced the fact that he had his, gallbladder removed?
Oh, you're talking about Deion?
Deion, yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking about all the personal trials and tribulations that this guy is going through. But great, when he gets out in front of the camera, you never suspect that aside from lights, camera, and action, that he's going through his own trials.
And his kids are the same way.
Yeah.
Shedeur, you're gonna hear him come in and y'all, you should have picked me this and this is ridiculous. You didn't hear Shiloh saying, oh, I should have been. Those kids, they just went out there and they went to work. Their dad taught them, if they don't believe in you, you believe in yourself.
You believe in yourself. Bet on yourself.
Bet on yourself, and that's what they've done. And the other thing too, though, Brother Love, I personally think that even though Travis Hunter was the #1 draft pick, I think that people saying that he is a tremendous athlete. I think that the best player out of Colorado, from what I'm seeing right now, is Shedeur Sanders.
Shedeur.
I mean, the second best, if you ask me, is going to be Shiloh. And the reason why I say that is because Travis Hunter, he had his first start, missed the tackle. His catches, he didn't, he wasn't able really to do a spin move.
So say I missed it preseason, so he did play both sides of the ball.
He played both sides, and there was nothing about what he did that was like outstanding and that stood out, or where you're like, oh yeah, I see why. But I mean, he has time to develop. But again, I say though, Brother Love, he is still undersized. He's claiming to be 6 feet 185, and he wants to play against some of the greatest athletes in football on both sides of the ball, and thinks that his body can hold up to that week in and week out.
Well, you know what? And on this note, because Greg, I do want to get to a couple of things that we definitely want to talk about. But Shiloh physical stature in comparison to Deion when Deion was at FSU. Do you?
About the same. Shiloh is a big thicker than Deion.
Deion was.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
He had a hell of a coaching.
Not as fast though.
Not as fast. Oh yeah, you're right.
Not as fast.
Hey, Greg, I'm gonna do some lightning, man. Fun story. Let's talk about the 50.
Let's cut that.
So let's cut. So the one I want to go to, man.
Yeah, I want to get it because we ain't got it.
Is just recently, man. There was a notification that was put out that Orange County Supervisor Election misprinted some ballots. 90,000 of them, I think it was.
Yeah.
And Greg, it's just so interesting that I was looking at.
Now wait a minute, you don't glaze over.
No, I'm not going to glaze. I'm going to say that I was looking at the notification that came to the community, and it had no name on it. No name from the perspective of, okay, we see this error, we see this mistake, but is anybody taking responsibility for it?
See, you said you weren't going to glaze over.
Oh, that's I still glazed over it.
Yeah.
Glazed
it
over.
It was a misprint.
It was okay.
She put the wrong. Hold on. The supervisor.
Oh yeah.
Put the wrong candidate on the ballot. The correct candidate on the ballot is to be Rashawn Young. He won the Democratic primary to run for House District 40. 90,000 ballots. 2 months after the special election or thereabouts, 90,000 ballots had the name of a gentleman that I like a great deal, which his name was actually on the ballot, but very happy with Rashawn Young, was Mr. McCurdy. They had the wrong name on 90,000 ballots.
So fast forward.
Yeah.
Fast forward. Now, Greg, a person that we both know, and I mean, I think he's a great guy, and I'm talking about the former supervisor of election, Glenn Galzine.
Yeah.
Man, do you know what would have happened if he had been in that capacity when this took place?
So now, brother,
I'm diplomatic. I
got to do all the heavy lifting.
So you said I'm being.
I got to do all the heavy lifting.
He would have been.
No. Let's say this because, like you said, the notification went out to the citizenry. The 90,000 ballots that went out, and the person who is the head of that agency did not have their name on there to say, "Hey, listen, this came out of my office. I need y'all to know I made a mistake. Shouldn't have happened. Won't happen again. But here's the correct ballot." There was no name on it at all for anyone to take responsibility for what was done. And we all know that if your name is on the building, you are the captain of the ship. So put your name there.
Hey, Greg, I voted for this individual, man.
And I'm still a very big fan of it.
Yeah, but, man, you know what? Want to see a level of accountability. When I saw that come back, I'm sitting back, okay, error was made, responsibility is being taken, but I can't fathom right now, Greg, that true responsibility was accepted for that error.
Yeah.
I mean, I got a problem with that.
Because that's huge. That's a huge mistake. But the other part of it too, though, because when we discussed it, you said, if this was done while Mr. Galzine was supervisor of elections,
they didn't want to head the road.
Yeah, you don't want to head the road, but he would have had his name on it. He would have taken responsibility and said, this is, your supervisor of elections, Glenn Galzine. I apologize, but my thing was, I said that if Glenn Galzine was there,
it wouldn't have happened.
It wouldn't have happened.
Well, great.
There was a tight ship that was being run at the Super. And listen, no knock on on my friend Karen Castellanti. You just getting there. You just got started. Listen, things happen. But what folks folks like to see is that when things happen, that you're standing there in front of your people,
Accountability,
taking a shot.
yeah.
Let there be no question about it. I am the head of this agency, and it shouldn't have gone out that way. It won't happen again.
And that's how it's supposed to be. But before we sign off, Greg, here's the issue that I have. The community is so dismissive of this. How can this be?
How much it cost to print those ballots?
90,000 of them, so I'm sure it costs a pretty penny.
Yeah.
So, you know what, man? I think this is a conversation, and I mean, we're saying directly that we both voted for this individual. We just want to see a level of accountability, but we also want to hear from those leaders in those communities. The community's too quiet right now. Man, Greg, I don't know what else to say about that one, man.
Listen, I think enough been said. Listen, mistakes are made. Take accountability for it. Say it won't be done, so we can have faith and trust in you for the years to come.
Well, my friend, you don't have to go home.
But you got to get out of here.
We'll see y'all next week on Let's Talk Nation. Join us, please.